Hello, ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, everybody who's watching this video. It's a new one about that you don't have to listen to trash like schizophrenia, you are sick. No, schizophrenia is certainly not a disease, and today I'm going to show you this video is different from my others in that point that I have written down all these so-called symptoms, and I'm gonna go through it in detail. Let's say I say a symptom and then what it means in the conventional way, like the disease way, and I'm gonna tell you why this is not any kind of sickness, but what it really means, so that you can really stop feeling like this, okay, like that, and feel like this, fruity, juicy, beautiful, and having your stuff that is really strong, but you don't have to be scared of it. Oh, I leave it. So let's start this. Okay. So the first, I haven't put it in any particular order, so these are the so-called schizophrenia symptoms. Okay. Oh, Ban, what does that mean? Sorry, I have to pause. Okay, this is supposed to mean a persuasion. You're persuaded by something, you are sure, you're supposed to be sure something is happening, even though, and this according to the DSM-5 bullshit list, means that you're crazy. So I say this: you were persuaded that something exists, but they don't have any evidence. What does that mean? They cannot measure it. They, I mean the doctors and all the materialists around, they cannot measure it. So they say, no, you're sick. That's a very classical argument. Just because you cannot measure something, it does not mean that it doesn't exist. So just stay cool. Everything you perceive with your mind, with your spirit, everything does exist. It maybe just isn't measurable with the classical instruments they have here. And, you know, we all know that there's a hell of a lot of things that cannot be measured. So this is not an argument. The second one, hallucinations. Yeah, our favorite one, very common too. Hallucinations are said to be blah, 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 blah. Sorry for pausing, but I'm translating this right now from a German text, so it's a bit, yeah. So hallucinations, yeah, that's it. They say you see something, it's probably the same as the first thing. You see something, you smell something, you hear something without having any particular, evidence again. They say you cannot control it, so you seem to feel this is real. Okay, let me put this straight. It's the same like the first thing, that you perceive something inside your mind, that you see things that other people don't see and stuff like that, does not mean that they do not exist. It just means that the others don't see them. So what the funk is wrong about this? Yeah, it's nothing wrong. Actually, again, I have to state that there's this universe, this reality, this multiverse, call it whatever you want, is much, much more, it's a larger range than anybody can imagine. So people with so-called schizophrenia have just that gift, that they perceive all these things. You know, they have opened the doors of their perception. It does not mean that they're crazy or weird or wrong. Let's say this. I don't like the word crazy. No one's crazy. They are not wrong in perceiving all these things. They just maybe have some problems like, ooh, what's going on? Yeah, but they are not wrong, and they're definitely not sick. So if you perceive things that others don't see, if you think something that others say, oh, that's crazy, just Don't feel disturbed by it. It's okay. You're not you're not sick. Third argument they have, DSM-5 list. Disorganized thinking. The thinking is not organized anymore. These people jump from one thought to another. Wow. Now that's really interesting. So we have to, according to this list, we have to think organized, and we cannot jump from one thought to another. I mean, every genius does that, jumping from one thought to another, because they can easily switch from one thought to another. Now, don't get bothered by this. It's absolutely fine. The next argument. Their behavior is not organized. Again, organization, man. Who ever started with this? Who can tell you? I mean, let's just put a bit of logic into it. Who another person than you, let's say, another person than you are, has no insight in your behavior, and your behavior might for you be absolutely fine and comfortable, and there's just the next person standing next to you saying, oh, but you are not organized. So that's, again, total trash. That's not argument. Okay, now we come to a very sad argument. I really am disgusted by this. So listen, schizophrenic people manifest their unorganized behavior, for example, with being childish. I am sorry, but who put that in? That must have been such a boring, dumb, stupid person. I mean, kind of a doctor to write this list. So that means, again, if you're childish and you behave youthful, childish, you're spontaneous, you have your own world, you are just considered crazy then. Yeah. So I think I don't have to explain this. Just people, please don't throw away your inner child. Be childish, because this is what the world needs. It has been boring enough and adult enough for a long time, so you don't have to feel bad because of that. But I know that people tend to do this. They say, hey, you behave like a child, as if this is something bad. No. It's not bad. It's bad, maybe, I mean, in my view, say, to behave too much adult, because, this makes you a zombie. Next argument. Trouble with paying attention. Okay, this is it. There's another issue that's called attention deficit syndrome or something like that. So these doctors have the rudeness to call someone who does not want to pay attention because it's simply she or he is bored by something and cannot pay attention. They call this a disease too. And this is one of the sub-syndromes here, or syndromes in schizophrenia. So again, if you can't pay attention, if you cannot focus to one thing for a long time, it simply means that you don't want to. It doesn't mean that you're sick anyway or the other. The next. Having problems with the mind, like memory. Okay, memory problems, who doesn't have this? The mind is not dumb. It sorts out things that it wants to remember. And, oh my God, wait a moment. This sounds better. It simply sorts out things that it wants to remember and things it does not want to remember at all. So this is not a problem, as long as you don't have Alzheimer, but this is a completely different thing, Next argument, planning some issues. Okay, somebody has problems with planning what they're going to do tomorrow and even next day and in a week and in a year and whatever. Wow, this should be, not considered any problem either, or not a thing like diseaseful. They're just chaotic people, and everybody who's a bit creative has got chaos in their head, and they cannot plan things, and also they're a bit clever, let's say it a bit different. They are clever, that's what I mean, because they know instinctively that you can plan whatever you want, but in the end it maybe turns out totally different because there's so many things that you have to count with, so many details that you might plan. You say, okay, in a week I will go swimming. This is a banal thing, but it's a banal example. But in a week it can be just raining or snowfall or there's the end of the world. I don't know what, and it just might not work out. So this is, again, it's not sick at all. The next thing is a very interesting argument. Schizophrenic people are stereotypically repeating a word or a thought. Okay, so this is supposed to be sick, yeah? If you stereotypically repeating a word or a thought. Well, the first thing that came to my mind is actually those monks in the Himalaya, or I don't know, in India where they live. What are they doing? They're humming for hours and hours. They're humming one and the same thing, like right? Isn't it? Or people who have their rituals and they're repeating a sentence again and again. Prayers are full of these things. Or just transcendental meditation. It's also like you repeat one and the same word, like a total nonsense, for example, also, till you get into a trance state, and then you meditate, and then you feel all the super stuff. So this argument is another example of how stupid the psychiatry list is, how stupid, anyone who made this up is, because this is nothing to be considered sick. And also, kids are doing this. It's a common thing. You just want to get into some state of mind. It feels good for you doing this. So why shouldn't you be doing this? You should typically, I don't know how it's spelled correctly, repeat anything that you want if it makes you feel good. And as I said, this is a common practice in other cultures or rituals. So it's actually ridiculous that they put this and all the other things, of course, too, on a list that's called schizophrenia symptoms list. There you can see how wrong these people are, The next thing we have here, super nice, making sounds that one cannot understand. Okay, so if you go like, yeah, something like this. I don't know. You just do this because you play. You're making sounds, man. What's wrong with this? This is not anything that's sick. It's absolutely perfectly sane and beautiful. It's just playful. You play. The language puts us all in a cage, because language is a predefined thing, but you have many more feelings that you cannot express with language, with words, and you express it with sounds. It's emotion, it's creative, it's abstract, So every time, in general, you go beyond that cage, you break out of this cage and do something that is not understandable, quote, it is considered to be a disease. Now, how stupid is that? How on earth, man? So make your sounds, do whatever you want to do. These sounds are cool because you like them and it's just playful. Okay, and then, it's 15 minutes. I have to stop, so watch the next video if you're interested in the list of symptoms that are actually no symptoms. Bye.